Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to summer. We are after Memorial Day, and we are in the final week of May. It is it's just terribly hot as we head into this last week. Hey, markets on Friday did okay. We were pretty much in green ink. We'll see what happens today, though, as we head into this final week of May. With that being said, let's not forget that there's so many things in this world we have no control over. However, you can take control of your investment portfolio by taking control of the amount of risk you have in your portfolio and making sure that that risk lines up with the amount of risk you should have in your portfolio based on your current circumstances. Give me a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis. Hey, with that, we've got Dave coming up next.
Billy Idle's there. Morning, Dave is here. Appreciate you being with me. It's 8:40 here, 20 before 9, and we're going to check in and see what's happening on Wall Street this morning. 3 days off to let things stew, and we'll see how things are trending this morning. I'll give you a spoiler alert. Not much. Let's go downtown to Statler Financial Services' very own Phillip Statler, who's on the line this morning. Good morning, sir. I trust it was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend. Had a little downtime, which is always good. But hey, summer is here, Dave. Can you turn the heat down just a little bit?
Oh, Lordy, like an idiot, I was out in 99-degree temperatures yesterday afternoon practicing my golf swing, but I got to admit, it looked like a wet rag by the time I walked into the lounge in order to wet my whistle and cool off by a little bit. Lordy, it was a warm weekend, and we might hit 100 tomorrow. I had a couple of Facebook people say they hit it yesterday at their homes, but officially we only got up to, I think, 98 yesterday, but it was 100 where I was standing. I'd be willing to swear on that. Backing up to Friday, since we haven't done anything since Friday with any real money, it was kind of a nothing day on the blue chip side of the fence. The Dow managed to gain back about $4.33 after Boeing kind of scared the crud out of everybody on Thursday. Standard & Poor's was up another 36 points. That wasn't bad. That was 0.7%. And NASDAQ, on the strength of our friends over at NVIDIA, actually went up. I'm not sure if I don't think that's a new record. 16,921, up 185 points. So on balance, it was a pretty good day. But you and I were talking before we went on the air. The VIX, the volatility index, I did a little snooping on it yesterday when I had nothing better to do. We haven't had a VIX index under 12.5 since like 2017. All of those gyrations last week, it didn't change the volatility index much at all. It's about as low as it's been now in about 6 years.
Man, that is yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we've seen volatility, but the VIX doesn't really seem to indicate that, which is kind of crazy.
I guess when you go up and then go right back where you were, that doesn't count on the VIX. And that's pretty much what we did last week. We ended up, I think, a positive week. But, boy, up and down during the week, Boeing just scared the crud out of the Dow earlier in the week when they said, oh, yeah, you guys have just loaned us a few $1 billion. We're not going to make any money all year. Sorry about that. All of a sudden, their stock completely tanked for the week and didn't really recover. But the rest of the Dow finally made it up by a little bit and ended up giving us a credible week. But it was one of those weeks on all the markets, wasn't it?
It was, I think overall a decent week. And so we continue to watch. I mean, I think the dollar's getting a little soft right now. Oil is, staying under 80. And then the treasuries yields are going down a little bit as well.
Which indicates some confidence that you and I would both consider irrational exuberance that the Fed might actually do something with interest rates over the next few months. I was following the odds makers chart that comes out of Chicago, and the investors right now are pricing in a 50-50 chance of an interest rate cut in September, which you and I both have been kind of poo-pooing now for weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, I just don't see where they're coming up with those numbers. I mean, especially, you got Fed presidents everywhere saying now that, hey, look, it doesn't look like, we've got to see some major improvements in inflation before we're going to even think about lowering interest rates. So I'm not sure where this excitement's coming from.
You and me both. I mean, they were telegraphing it. They were doing more than telegraphing it. They were shouting it from the rooftops before the Fed minutes came out last week, and then the minutes of the prior month's meeting pretty much confirmed it that higher for longer is our current strategy. I'll stand on my notion that an interest rate hike probably isn't in the offing until after the election. But I would think December at earliest as far as an interest rate cut is concerned right now.
Yeah, I would think too. I mean, that would be the soonest. I mean, I know that I saw a little headline that right now they're looking at like England and thinking that there's not going to be more rate cuts there either, because that seems to be a bone of contention over there as well as other European countries. So I think that everybody right now may be in the same boat we are, and just not seeing inflation dying down as much as the central banks across the world want to see.
Yeah, a couple of my tip sheets started using the old word stagflation last week, and I wasn't at all happy to hear that. The big market mover for the week probably isn't going to come until Friday when we get our current new month's PCE number. That's the personal consumption expenditure numbers, and it'll be the last reporting of that number before next month's Federal Reserve meeting. Once again, I think optimism reigns supreme. We had one hopeful sign that inflation was under control over the last month. Everything else basically said it wasn't under control. Everybody's expecting the personal consumption core expenditure number to actually ease back a little bit. I'm not optimistic on that level, which means I'm frankly a little pessimistic about Friday, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I am as well. I mean, right now, I've got expectations that they remain the same as they were in the prior month, which I guess that would be good. Well, except for the core. I see the core they expect to go down 0.1%, which is that may be optimistic.
That's the number that I had, that the core was supposed to decrease ever so slightly. And honest to gosh, I find that kind of pipe dream more than anything else. I mean, I'll be pleasant surprised if it does, but if it goes up, which I'd be considered more likely when I look at the producer price index, the import prices, and all the rest of the indications we've gotten, it'll come as a surprise to me if it even holds steady month over month. And that's the number that Paulson looks at when he starts talking to the other Fed governors at the Open Market Committee meeting in the middle of June. So here we go again, one more time with feeling. It's a quiet week, obviously. It's kind of like Monday, even though the calendar says Tuesday. We won't get a lot of information out until later on this morning at earliest, but we got a few straggler reports that'll be coming out this week that might be interesting bellwethers. I see Costco and Dollar General both on the agenda later on in the week, and then Best Buy, which is always a good measure of discretionary spending because you aren't going to upgrade your big screen TV unless you got some extra money.
Well, that's right. So tomorrow, just kind of heads up, we got Dick's Sporting Goods and Abercrombie & Fitch will be before the market opens, Salesforce, HP after the bell. Then, like you said, Best Buy will be Thursday before the bell. Then we get one of your favorites, Ulta Beauty, after the bell, as well as Costco on Thursday after the bell. So that'll be Friday morning's talking points as well as the PCE.
Yeah, so it'll be a relatively busy week, and like I said, I still expect the big market mover to be Friday morning with that PCE number. Tidbits that greet us this morning. T-Mobile is buying another cellular company. They ate Sprint a while ago, and now they're eating the assets of U.S. Cellular in a multi-billion-dollar deal. That ought to help their footprint, and it should help their stock price, I'd expect, wouldn't you?
Well, I would expect so as we head into today. But I don't really see much movement on the stock. Actually, it's trading down about 0.33% right now.
I suppose they're taking on debt for it, so it's going to take a little while for investors to digest that and make a decision, wouldn't you suspect?
Yeah, probably so. To get those new assets in, it's a process, and sometimes it slows down sales because of walking through the process of getting all those assets merged in with T-Mobile's business.
I don't know where U.S. Cellular stands in terms of bulk size. I know they're one of the super regional cellular companies, not one of the big three by any measure, but it's got to get T-Mobile a little closer to AT&T as the number 3 seller of cellular services. On balance, I figure it's got to be good news for T-Mobile shareholders.
Hey,
The other tidbit, I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, it should exactly.
Absolutely. The only other tidbit I've got out is a sidebar thing that I've read that was kind of interesting. You want to fire your broker? Just sign up ChatGPT. Somebody sicked an artificial intelligence routine on a portfolio last week. And from Monday through Friday of last week, I'm assuming it was last week, it was inside of 1 week anyway, this AI bot was sicked on the marketplace, and it turned $3,200 into $14,158, all inside of 1 week. And I'm assuming that's without signing on to Reddit. I used to flippantly tell employees you can be replaced by a button that doesn't work. Well, maybe your broker could be as well, unless you're really into security and whatnot. I just had to share that down the line. Setting the table, it was a mixed bag on Friday, but generally green ink, especially the more adventurous the issues were, the better the index was. 45 minutes before we opened this morning, what are we looking at?
Not much movement this morning, Dave. The Dow was actually down a little over 0.1%. S&P 500 is up 0.1%. NASDAQ 100 is up a little over 0.1%. The Russell 2000 is the big mover right now, up about 0.4%. On the other side of the coin, we've got silver up. Dave, get this. Silver's up 4.6% this morning.
Crud.
Back up to $31.90 an ounce. Gold is up 0.9% to $2,355 an ounce. Crude oil, another big jump, up 1.9% to $79.20 a barrel.
Ouch, it was only in the 78 range yesterday, not what we had in mind. Overseas markets, the Asian Rim was generally kind of owly this morning. I mean, no major losses, but everything was in the red side of the fence. The overall index down maybe 0.25% on the Asian Rim. European stocks are kind of in a hold steady mode, mostly flat, trying to watch and see what we're going to do. And with us doing almost nothing, well, they're doing almost nothing. The average Asian Rim, or the European theater, down by about 0.25% halfway through their trading day. Trying to get a handle on how to retire is tricky in any marketplace, and it's even trickier right now. Trying to figure out how to make sure I can retire the way I plan to requires your eyes. Phillip, how do I find you to get those eyes on my case?
David, give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule their core retirement analysis. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And back here tomorrow morning to tell you what happened today and is likely to affect your money here tomorrow on Light. Phillip, you have a good day, and we'll see you then.
All right, take care.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your day's going well. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, have a great day. Bye now.